What's up, everyone? I'm Scott,
And I'm Jason.
and you are listening to Liquid Carnage, my friend. Thanksgiving week is upon us. This is being released on Thanksgiving Day, so happy Thanksgiving to all of our tens of listeners out there.
Hey, yes, happy Thanksgiving to all the tens of listeners. All the tens, we love you guys. Although, I don't know if you noticed this week, but we've had listenings from Hong Kong, Sweden, England, Botswana even tuned into us. So,
Botswana.
yeah, Botswana, that's the first one.
Shout out to our fan in Botswana.
We had a fan in Botswana that listened to us.
You ever think of that? Maybe that's just an accident. Like, who are these fools?
Oh, sometimes I think that because I look at some of the episodes that they've downloaded, and it could be just that they were searching. Like one of the episodes was about fantasy football.
Oh, okay, well, that was a couple years old. I hope they're
Yeah,
not making
we've
those
had a
calls.
couple of those. So so it's possible that they type in a keyword and then it just searches for it. Like one of them was apps for Gramps.
Apps for Gramps?
Yeah, it was an episode we did earlier this year where he talked about, the apps to help the old people because if they don't have smartphones and how do they do it, when you're older and not app savvy.
Thank God for you, buddy, man, because I have a hard time remembering what we talked about last week, let alone earlier this year.
I know. That's why, we have the EP, we have the notes from the EP, and we have the talent, which is you, and I'm the producer.
You're the face of the operations, the beauty of the operations.
Oh
you're
gosh, no! It's your face, your voice. I'm just the psychic.
You ever think about this? I had this conversation with somebody the other day at work. If someone's playing you in an autobiographical movie, because Napoleon came out this week.
Yes.
With Joaquin Phoenix. While a great actor for a great role, Napoleon was notoriously short.
Yes, he was.
Don't think Joaquin Phoenix is very short, but that's neither here nor there. Who would play you in the movie about you?
Oh man. I used to want to have Tom Cruise play me, but
yeah,
he's older than I am, so I probably have to go with someone a little younger. Oh man, I don't know. I'm trying to look at someone who also has my look,
Yeah, that's it. That's the hard part, is having that look. And I thought about this and someone asked me that question, and I'm going to pose this question when I see our friends this weekend. Way back when someone mentioned, like either like a Seth Rogen or the personality-wise Channing Tatum for me, not the body, but the personality. But the more I realize it, I'm probably more Danny McBride as I get older, and I'm not sure that's a compliment or an insult. I don't know how to.
Yeah, that's kind of an odd one. I don't think. Yeah, Danny McBride. Yeah,
But again, personality and half the things I say makes sense.
Yeah. I have to think about that for a second because I'm definitely a unique personality like that. Kevin James probably could play me pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, if he could play Sean Payton, he could play you.
Yeah, I mean, if he could play Sean Payton, is he going to be Sean Payton in a movie?
He already has been Sean Payton in a movie.
What movie?
Oh, it's on Netflix. It was the story about how when he got banned from football for that year for Bountygate, and he went and coached his son's football team.
Oh no, okay, never heard of that.
Yeah, it came out earlier this year, something like that.
Yeah, you know what? That's a great question because when you're trying to think of a brand, right? Everyone would like to look like Dean. We already know who Dean's would be.
Yeah.
Dean would be easy. That would be no brainer. Easy peasy. But yeah, for me, I don't know.
Are you gonna say it? Are you just gonna say easy peasy?
Oh well, Ed Norton.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like an easy one. Ed Norton is it. I also realized too that some of the younger actors, there might be some really easy to identify younger actors that I'm just not thinking of, that would play me perfectly.
Also, the problem is I don't know who half these younger actors are anymore. In a perfect world, can Pedro Pascal play me? Because he's playing everybody else really wonderfully right now.
Pedro Pascal. I still remember him as the serpent, man.
Oh yeah, right.
From the Game of Thrones. That's all I can picture him is the serpent.
Yeah. By the way, quite possibly one of the best SNL skits ever was his interpretation of Mario Kart. If you haven't seen that, search up SNL Mario Kart on YouTube, and it's amazing. It is such a fun.
Be careful because Elon Musk did Mario Kart something too, didn't he?
No, he did like a Wario thing. Did you ever see Pedro Pascal's SNL skit with Mario Kart?
No.
It was a play on what's that show he just did? The Last of Us,
Okay.
where like the mushroom fungus kills off the majority of the population.
Oh, okay.
And he plays Mario as like a gun runner, smuggler type, and Luigi's off living in a haunted mansion. And I suggest you go look it up after this and tell me you don't laugh your ass off, because if it was a real movie, I would see that movie 3 times on opening day.
Oh, awesome. Okay. All right. Well, hey, that's good to know. I'll have to look that up after this.
Sometimes Saturday Night Live still throws a great skit at you that's just timeless, and to me that's one of them. So check it out.
I don't know if you're following the story, but it got me thinking. So over the weekend, OpenAI, the brand.
Yeah, they fired the president.
What's that?
They fired their president.
They fired their CEO.
Yeah.
On Monday, 700 of the 770 employees. Oh, no, I'm sorry. So they fired the CEO. That very day, Microsoft hired that guy as the CEO of their AI program.
Uh-huh.
That Monday, 700 of 770 employees of OpenAI wrote a letter saying that if you do not hire this person back immediately as our CEO and resign from the board, we will leave to go work for Microsoft.
Wow. I have not read that yet.
Yeah, so that was the story that came out yesterday in the business journals. OpenAI is like, I think we might have made a mistake. But it got me thinking, kind of tying in loosely to our topic. OpenAI, no one really knows what it is, but when you put AI behind Microsoft, it means something more, right?
Yeah.
And it means something that now that you have the CEO of a company that he got kicked off of is now working for a competitor. Don't you think there's an incentive now to say, hey, we're going to make the Microsoft brand escalate in terms of its capability?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Also, side note, when you're working on that level of industry, how do you fire somebody not have a non-compete clause?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know.
I mean, how do you so openly fire somebody on, let's call this a multi-billion-dollar industry, and you don't have a non-compete clause for one of your founding fathers?
Yeah, and let's be honest, the board of directors are not experts in a field. They're basically an advisory board to run a company, right? That's all they are. They're not the experts. They're not the ones that know how to do anything. So you have 4 people in a boardroom making a decision that's now going to affect not only the brand of the company, but also 770 employees are going to either be working somewhere else or out of a job. Not smart.
Did this guy, no, was this one of the guys that signed a proclamation to the government saying we should put a pause on AI development until we fully understand it?
I didn't read the story to know why they got rid of him, other than they had differentiation of the path and the future of the AI. So this could be it. Yeah, that could be it, that he wanted to make a pause on it and try to get more involvement. Microsoft said, hey, you can come work for us anytime.
Yeah. And that's how Skynet was born.
Well, maybe so. Maybe that's how it works. But there is something to be said about OpenAI as a company versus Microsoft as a company.
Yeah, absolutely.
That, hey, I'm working and developing at Microsoft versus I'm working and developing at OpenAI.
Yeah. I agree. It's brand recognition.
Yes.
And people are very brand savvy in today's world, especially with social media being the way it is. Brands will sponsor the most random people now, but because these people have a following of hundreds of thousands of just individuals, their brand can be seen, across, tens of thousands of screens at any given point in time of the day, So that goes a long way.
Well, and one of the things that I recognize in this new world that we live in is that while I don't understand why people would be, pay an influencer to, promote their brand. I read a book about influencers, and it was fascinating. I have a newfound respect for what they do, because while I don't understand it, these people work really hard to get a following, to push items and do those kind of things. And when you have that kind of power, I can see why brand names will say, you know what, I want this actress or this influencer to be the representative of my brand because of the power that they hold. Doesn't make the brand better, but it definitely makes it more influential by name recognition.
Well, product placement's been a thing in advertising and television, because it's always very specific where you see certain products in movies, TV shows, and what have you. And I don't know, there's a fun fact about the Daniel Craig James Bond's movies. James Bond notoriously has always drank what, Jason? A martini, shaken, not stirred.
Shaken, not stirred, yep.
Daniel Craig did not. Do you know what Daniel Craig signed a contract to drink? Stella Artois.
Really?
Beer.
I'll have to go back through. Yep. I thought he ordered shaken, not stirred.
If you go back and see it, whenever he walks into a place to get a drink, it should be Stella Artois.
Interesting. I did not know that.
Yeah, that was the first major shakeup in the Bond movies. No pun intended.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
Yeah, but products.
You did pun it, but yeah. Okay, gotcha. Wow. Sorry, it must be close to the holiday. We must be in holiday mode.
It's a short week, and sometimes you just say things without realizing you're saying it until it's too late. But you know what? It's good. Product placement in television, and it's helped people buy things for years, and people are very brand loyal. They're very brand loyal, and you see that in sports. You see that in vehicles. People stand by what they believe in, and even when no one else does. I mean, maybe you've heard the phrase, are you a Ford guy or are you a Chevy guy? Or in this case, with our EP, are you a Dodge guy? There are people that will only buy those brands.
Yes. And yeah, loyal to those brands. Yeah. And I've never been quite like that kind of brand loyalty. I'm more of the, if I have a pair of shoes that cost $80 and a pair of shoes that cost $200, I will put more emphasis on the $200 pair of shoes, whether or not it's anything more than just the brand.
Yeah. No, I will say I'm very specific on some brands I use and others I could really care less on.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. And I think that there is something to be said that, like, it shouldn't be this way, but there is a sense out there, that the, iPhone versus the Galaxy phone. The iPhone is the brand a little bit better than the Galaxy.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that Galaxies aren't a great phone, but most of the people that, that they only buy iPads, iPhones, iMac, Macs, they're buying it because they want the name recognition of Apple.
Well, they also, all those platforms work with each other. They speak to each other very easily. And you'll see a lot of Android users, and I hate this argument, like, well, it's open source. So I can do with it whatever I want to do with it if I want to program it a certain way. And I get that. But when you ask them, like, well, how have you programmed it custom, specific to you? Oh, well, I haven't.
Yeah, like our friends have Galaxies, and they have it set up like it's Bluetooth through their TV, so they can watch, their shows on their TV and stuff. And I think, well, wait a minute, I can connect my Apple to that. I mean, I can do that. So I don't know what the recognition is one over the other. Most of the time, if you're looking at, for most people, the price is the difference.
Well, also, let me ask you this. When you see someone's text for the first time come over your screen, when it's green versus when it's blue, like, does your mind go like, all right, I know what I'm working with here?
Oh, okay. See, I'm not to that level yet. Like,
okay, you're not a phone snob on that level.
Yeah, I mean, like I recognize the difference between the green and the blue. I haven't put to the point that ick, like gross. Like, why am I talking to this person? I haven't gotten to that level yet, but I might. Because
you're getting there. I mean, there's nothing like a group chat that when you hit send for the first time and it's all blue, you're like, all right, this works. But versus like when it goes green, like, ah, shit. Somebody out there is cheap. And And it's sad to say, but we all think it. I'm just saying the quiet part out loud. In our case, we all know it's mittens. I mean, that's fine, but at least
Hey, mittens holds on to it. I appreciate that.
I will give that guy credit.
I mean, have you ever bought a suit from a name brand?
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Do I feel better? Does it fit better? Does it look better? I'm not quite sure if it's because it's the name brand or if I'm paying more, but I've had suits where I bought a name brand suit, like a really nice suit, and it just makes me feel better. It just makes me feel better. Do you ever buy something just because, I'm going to spend a little bit more money, but I just feel like I'm upper level?
I won't say upper level, but yeah, like I know the quality's better. Like I know the quality is superb with that. And I go through that a lot with Yeti. I have a few Yeti ice chests and cups and whatever else, and they are the best products for what I use them for than any other of the off-brand or their competitors' products. And that's a great example for me personally. The only ice chest I use anymore is Yeti. Whether it's a soft one or a hard one, I will spend the money on that product because I know it will last and I know how well it works.
We're about ready to snob up. We don't normally do Christmas presents, but this year we decided as a gift to each other that we are going to buy one of the frames, the TV frames that is a picture frame. Also, like when it's off, it's a picture frame, and it's a picture, a painting, and when it's on, it's a TV.
Oh, fancy.
Yeah. Well, Samsung is the only one that makes that device.
Yeah.
Right. And someone asked me, what do the reviews say about the TV? And I said, it's kind of hard because I look at the reviews of the LG TVs, the Vizio TVs, the Sony TVs. The reviews are much better than the Samsung. But Samsung is the only one that makes the frame. And when you want the frame, the reviews kind of get thrown out the window. It doesn't really matter if it's better or not. You're buying a frame. You're paying for a frame.
So this brings up a good question when you talk about reviews. So when you read the reviews, do you read only the 5 stars? Do you go down to the 1 stars and see what the issues are?
We only go to the 1 stars. Because ultimately, let's be honest, most people, Amazon sends me notifications all the time. Hey, you bought this product. How would you rate it? 5. Just
by the way, Amazon, I know you're listening right now. That's how you get 1-star reviews from me.
Oh, okay. So, that's interesting. Okay. Go the other way. Even if it's the best product, don't ask me.
Do not ask me. That is a chicken shit move.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Good. That's good to know. But anyways, so 5-star reviews are they're kind of a little bit easy. I go to the 1-star reviews. Like, what did you really find the problem with the product?
Absolutely. And I really trying to say is like, are you just being an asshole or is it really an issue?
Yeah. Like I'm fully aware that some of the people that rate something as a 1-star, they're mad about things because they had an expectation of something and it didn't meet the expectation. But
agreed.
Some people are like, no, I opened this product. It was not working the way I wanted to. The setup was too difficult, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. I do take that in consideration. Well, with this TV, Samsung is not the best when it comes to electronics. I mean, there's a lot of other TV manufacturers that have better ratings than the Samsung. But
this is the product you want, though.
And it's the only product out there that's this way.
Yeah.
It's the only product out there. So the TV is really thin. It comes with a frame, so it literally looks like a piece of art on your wall.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only one out there like that. So if you're okay with that's what you want, then it doesn't really matter what the review says.
That's fair. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sure that these women that buy these $1,000 pair of shoes can tell you that this is a better product, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a better product. I mean, $1,000, shit, that thing better make me be able to walk into high heels and run a race and then, do all kinds of things. And I'm sure they don't do that, but
it's interesting though, because when you talk about higher amounts of dollars in better products, cars are a perfect example. I'm a Ford guy.
I have an F-150. I've driven F-150s for the last 15 years. And I will always have one because I like the product. It's solid. I've been looking at getting, once my truck is paid off, a Bronco. Because we were raised on Broncos and Jeeps. My dad also was raised on that, but they have 4 Jeeps between my mom and my dad. And I don't dislike them, but I am loyal to the Ford brand as far as what I want to purchase. And I like the Broncos and their layout's a whole lot better, and I like what they offer with their EcoBoost. So that makes me a loyalist to the Ford, brand,
Yeah. Now, I will say I've never been loyal to a car before. And so I'm okay with, if someone buys me a GMC, okay, if you bought me a GMC, I'd drive a GMC. I don't care. Like, if someone bought you a brand new GMC, you'd be like,
I'm not saying no if someone wants to buy me a brand new GMC. Like, if you want to give me a car, I'll take the car. But if I get to pick it, I'm paying for it.
You're not going to drive it.
Well, I didn't say that. If you're giving it to me, I'll take it.
Okay.
But if I'm paying for it,
yeah,
this is what I want. This is what I'm going to get.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel the same way about dinners sometimes. Like I'll give you an example. We went to a restaurant, before we went on a date night. We went to a restaurant. It was kind of a little bit more upscale. The dinners were average $50 to $75 a piece. So it's a little upscale. Well, there's a cocktail called a Sazerac, and anyone who's been to New Orleans knows what a Sazerac is. Well, they had $100 Sazerac drink, and I bought it.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? I don't even know if it's going to taste any better, but I want to know, what does it taste like to taste $100 cocktail versus a $18 cocktail?
Yeah.
Just to see. Now, here's the funny part of the story. They had this drink, but they didn't have the whiskey that was the prime driver of the cost being so high. So I got a normal Sazerac because they didn't have the $100 version of it. They only had the $18 version of it. I tasted the $18 version, and it was horrible. It was not well done. And I thought I would have been so pissed if I had paid $100 for a Sazerac that was a shitty drink.
It's funny you mentioned that, and alcohol specifically from New Orleans. My last visit to New Orleans, we were at a bar one night, Muriel's Bar Restaurants in Jackson Square. It's one of the most haunted bars and restaurants in New Orleans. I was at the bar, and they had Pappy Van Winkle for $10 a glass. And I don't know if you're aware of what Pappy Van Winkle is as far as bourbon goes and whiskey.
I am.
It is a very high end for our listeners that don't know. It can cost upwards of $500 to $1,000 for a slightly aged bottle, and the older the bottle, the more expensive it is.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to add to your story after you're done. So go ahead.
Yeah. At $10 a glass, I figured, you know what the hell? I may never be able to have this again. About 3 into it, the waitress comes up and says, "Sir, I'm so sorry. We misprinted the menu. It's actually $100 a glass. But since you're here and you've been drinking it, we have to honor this price for your stay, this particular visit. So, please." And I said, "No problem. I understand. Go ahead and cash me out, but first I'll take 7 more." And, and that was it. But, there's a huge difference in that whiskey, versus like Buffalo Trace or Bullet, which is what I would normally drink.
And let me ask you this. Would you be able to honestly say, not just on the name brand, but the actual taste, that there was a difference?
Yeah, there was a little bit smoother. It was definitely a nicer burn, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So I felt the difference.
Okay. And I think that's a key to me too, is, sometimes when you're looking at, brand preference, some of it's just the hype, the mystique, right? Yeah. Hey, I drank Pappy Van Winkle. Anyone who knows Pappy Van Winkle is going to say, "Ooh, wow." It's a status symbol.
Where'd you find that?
Yeah, it's a status. It's a taste. If you don't know Pappy Van Winkle, you're not going to get it. You're not going to understand it, right?
So you're going to think it tastes like Jack Daniels.
You're going to think it tastes like whiskey. Okay, well, I'm not going to drink that. It tastes like whiskey.
Yeah.
And I think that I think that's part of it too. If you don't understand the brand differential, it doesn't mean anything to you. Like, I'm sure those women that buy those shoes that have the red soles,
like
they know the difference, right? You and I don't know the difference, but they know the difference. And any woman who's ever had those shoes recognizes not only a difference in the feel of the shoe, but the style alone.
So funny you mentioned that particular brand. We've got a very close friend that her now ex bought her 2 pairs of those shoes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
$750 a piece. It was an I'm sorry gift.
Oh, wow. Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. And she absolutely adores them, but she said she had to go buy, I guess there's a strap that can go over your foot to make sure they actually stayed on her feet because they were constantly coming off.
Yes. Wow.
So, okay. Just the funny thing about that is you pay that much money, but then you still have a first world problem with, I still have to buy the cheap little strap from Walmart to attach it so it stays on my foot. But so that leads to the next question as we get close to wrapping up the show here. Have you ever found a generic product to be just as good as the high dollar products?
I will say, I find that I bought the cheap headphones, that Bluetooth. I bought the Apple AirPods. Not much difference. Not really? Enough for me. Not enough for me. Like, I never go, oh man, the AirPods hearing experience is so much better than the cheap one that you can buy for $20, and you can you Bluetooth them to whatever device you want. So I do find that sometimes electronics, perfect example. I know that I can buy this 75-inch frame for about $2,000. I know I can go to Walmart right now and buy a 75-inch TV for about $800.
$699.
Yeah. Am I going to be able to notice the difference between the $2,000 that I'm willing to spend for this product versus that TV? I got to be honest. I don't think so. I just don't think so. But when people ask, and I know it's going to happen, oh, that's a nice TV. Oh yeah, we bought a frame. They're going to equate frame and something of a higher quality than just a regular TV.
Well, I think most people know what the frame is because I didn't realize that was even a thing until this episode.
Yeah. No, and I've seen a live one. We have a friend that bought one, and I got to admit, the picture on, like, when the TV's not on and it's just a piece of art, it looks beautiful, man. It doesn't look like a TV. It looks like a framed piece of art. It's awesome.
Does the art rotate, or is it?
Yeah, not only does it has a preset package of art, but you can go buy art. Like, so if you want to buy the classics, or if you want to buy the famous artists, or Disney has a package that you can buy where it has Disney pictures. You can buy the one for the Norman Rockwell stuff, and you can even have it where it just rotates. It just kind of rotates as you go through, or you can put your own pictures on it. Like, if you have pictures, you can set it up to run through your pictures like a picture frame. It's pretty intense. Wild. Yeah. Wild. So.
That's crazy, man. So I guess that's the real question as we wrap up today's show is, like, what do you prefer, generic or the name brand? And if what kind of name brand, what specifically to your lifestyle? Is it Nike? Is it a vehicle? Is it a particular brand of food? We want to know. Hit us up on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, all at Liquid Carnage. The EP is looking for holiday gift ideas for all of his employees. I think he has one or two, if he has any. He wants to know your ideas to gift all of the techie people in your life. Hit him up at liquid_EP on Twitter and the Instagram.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that whether we want to admit it or not, you mention a product that you own this, even if it's not as good a product, because like Noreen has a Louis Vuitton purse.
Yeah.
Everywhere we go, women go, oh my God, I love your purse. I love your purse. And this purse is nothing to write home about. I've seen better purses, but there's something about that name brand recognition, that name brand preference, that if you have a Louis Vuitton purse versus just a purse,
yeah,
it makes a difference. And I'm sure there's a lot. We could probably go over a ton of instances, and I'm sure on our Facebook and the Instagram, they'll have plenty of things that tell us, other items where it's like you're buying the name recognition, but the name recognition is everything.
Especially if it's a niche market, very niche, like runners have very specific shoes they have to buy.
Yep.
People that are gearheads have very specific auto parts that they have to buy aftermarket. So it goes beyond just the basic stuff. When you get in the niche markets, then you really have to look at the brands and make sure you're buying the right quality brand for what you're doing.
Yeah, and when it comes to that kind of loyalty, there is no expense. I mean, I have my Noreen's cousin or nephew. He's one of these shoe freaks, like that buys the brand new best of the best shoes, never wears them. You know what I mean? Like he's one of these that like he puts them on a display. I don't know why he does it, but when someone says, "Oh, I have one of these Air Jordans, I have one of these," people go, "Oh my gosh, really? You have that? That's awesome!" So I get it.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, if you don't wear it, what's the point?
Hey, it's like anything else. I mean, it's the name loyalty to say I have it, you don't.
I get it.
We live in a competitive world, my friend.
That being said, you could buy the Liquid Carnage brand market stuff in 2024 as soon as we get around to actually making some.
I love it.
And then we'll really see your brand loyalty.
Hey,
that
everyone,
being said, take us home, Jason.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. We hope you enjoyed this episode. That was Scott.